All right, so welcome everybody. This is Bravetales. It is a series of interviews that I'm doing with both men and women here and overseas who have stepped outside the norm. They have moved away from their traditional 9-to-5 roles or their corporate careers or what they were doing previously to step out into something new, to really pursue their dreams. Now, in the corporate environment, we hear about goals, we hear about budgets and deadlines, but people don't really talk about dreams. And I really wanted to dig deep and find out, are there people who are out there actually pursuing their dreams? How are they doing it? What are the challenges they're facing? How do they overcome them? And what can we learn? If you really want to step outside and build your own business and pursue that dream, what can we learn from people who have gone before us? So today I'm delighted to be joined by the incredible Annie Burns. Annie has previously run her own business in importing and exporting giftware. At the moment, she's a carer for her parents, and she has launched a new business which actually helps her to pursue her dreams. So Annie Burns, welcome to the call.
Thank you so much, Shami. It's great to be on here.
Awesome. So tell us a little bit about you.
A little bit about me. Well, as you just said, I do have a little bit of a background in business, but I was very naive to business when I first started. And I've just always wanted to have a life where it challenges me, I have flexibility, and I just was never, ever up for the 9-to-5 thing. That was just me. I'm also an artist, so I'm very creative. And I love to have a studio not too far from here, 10 minutes away, where I can paint to my heart's desire in my spare time. You'll find me there. If I'm not answering the phone, I'm often in my studio painting.
That sounds amazing. So in terms of background, were you always into doing some of these things? So from the time you were a child, is it something that you always wanted to do, was to be into the creative arts area, or was there something else that you were looking to do?
Well, not particularly, no. My sister was the one who was always drawing and painting, and I was probably to some extent. But I went through high school and then I actually didn't get accepted into college. And I love children and I was going to be a preschool teacher. But, a lot of pressures are placed on us at school as to what do you want to do. And I really wasn't 100% sure that's what I wanted to do. And I found myself with no job, or a small part-time job in a newsagent, and I didn't get my TE score. I did not, that was a TE score back then, those many years ago. And I didn't actually want to go back to school. And due to a very low budget, low income, I started buying clothes, secondhand clothes, and then revamping them. And from there, it just went to putting them into some kind of art form. And then people started asking me about them, and I created my own fashion label a number of years ago, and that just lent to my art. So I really got a taste for working for myself at a very early age. This was only at 18. And I just liked the freedom of that and the challenges that go with that, and the real personal growth that goes with that as well.
That is incredible. To start something off at the age of 18 is amazing. A bit of a Richard Branson story there. But so what were the challenges you faced early on in life that sort of maybe helped you to become the person that you are today?
I'd definitely say, well, there's a couple of things, and people see me as a very confident person. All my life, I've had people tell me that. They don't realize inside there's this little girl who's quite introverted. People see me as extroverted, but I'm actually put myself out there because I want myself to be the best version of me. So probably confidence has been the biggest thing that has stopped me from doing more of what I love. And the other thing, the big thing, I suffered with depression in my 20s, and it was quite debilitating. I just, was really lost for a few years, but I see that as a real, and it was ongoing all through my 20s. And I've actually really just dealt with it naturally, in a natural way, and just immersed myself in personal development. And what it's done is it's actually created, I guess I have my own support system, so to speak. So I know how to face that if it comes along. So it's something that I guess was not a nice thing to experience at 19, 20, and into, most of my 20s. But it really just was probably that built my character to have those resources to fall back on, to be able to live my life from a happy space, or from an authentic space, and not that dark space. Yes.
Wow, that is powerful. I mean, I know a lot of people do go through mental health issues, particularly post-COVID, and I think that will really help them. When you say natural methods, and is it that you reached out to people and got their support, or how did you overcome that particular challenge?
It's interesting. I mostly just immerse myself in books, actually. Well, some personal development books really changed my life, and I just tried to do it all on my own, which is probably the longest way to do it. But I also just really have met some incredible humans who have really helped me on that journey and shown me ways to create, to be, to be the best version of myself, and some mentors that have been incredible for me in that way. So I've just really stuck with it and continued doing those practices that they suggest, which is
Wow.
always a challenge, being disciplined and habitual with those things. But that's
Yeah.
what, that I really, really am grateful that I did suffer with that depression at such an early age, because it really has helped me with it, helps me now in everyday life.
Amazing. Thanks for sharing that, Annie. I think it'll be powerful for people. But so you did something early on in life. This helped you to sort of grow and become who you are. How did you launch your new business? Or what was the reason for wanting to step out and start something new?
I guess the big reason for me was the fact that I did reach a position of back to zero. My husband and I were back to zero with our finances. And I was in businesses where I relied on people to purchase from me.
Yeah.
I relied on either passing by traffic. I had to have the money to spend to market my business. It was, and they both failed. Well, actually, no, the second one didn't fail, but it was just so much hard work. And I really was looking for something that I could carry on alongside my job. So I went back to the workforce a number of years ago, and that's when I decided to launch this business in essential services, because it's something that everyone needs and uses, and it's very different to different to the art world, that's for sure. So because we have a recession, and people aren't going to spend money on art, unfortunately.
Right.
Some are, but a lot aren't. And I just was looking for something that didn't actually was a smaller output. I had the ability to say, yes, I want to work hard this week, or no, I'm not going to work as hard this week. And also something that people are using that all the time. And of course, that made sense to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, though, having had experience of a business not doing what you wanted to do, there would have been some early challenges, even with the second business that you started. What were some of those challenges, and how did you overcome them?
Absolutely. Probably my biggest challenge is the confidence, I guess, is always stepping out, and just stepping out of my comfort zone. Because if you want to grow a great business, right, you need to actually step outside of your comfort zone. You're not going to do that if you don't, right? It's just with any business. And that was probably I love stepping outside my comfort zone. But that's also a challenge, but it's something I have to face all the time. My other challenge, I would definitely say, has been all my life since I started my business at 18, my first business, and that was time management. It's probably my biggest one. That's still today. I'm still looking for help there. So time management and really achieving a lot without the distractions. I'm easily distracted. I love variety in my life, and one of my biggest distractions is probably my husband coming home and saying, "Come on, let's go and do something," which is great, right, to be able to do that. But yeah, the distraction, staying focused, and I think I have actually found my focus, and it still happens, but I come back unfocused, but I have found my focus, and a lot more than I did have many years ago when I had my other businesses.
That's amazing. Again, was it mainly through books or coaches, or how did you manage to sort of hone in and find that focus?
Well, I probably have one answer here, and that's the community that I'm involved in with right now. The community that expands with my business has been amazing, and my other businesses I threw in the towel too early and didn't stick with them, and see that stay with all the changes and go new different directions, And I didn't have that support, network. And that mentorship, and I do have that now, and that's what's kept me on track, and it's helped me overcome these challenges of time management, challenges of being losing focus, of the confidence level. All of that has grown a lot in the last few years.
Wow, amazing. So you are currently a regional director in your business. You've got close to 2,500 customers. Why is it that you love doing what you do? And do you think it's making a difference?
Wow, absolutely it is. I know it is, because I hear stories every day about how it's making a difference. And why do I love what I do? I think that's what you first said, yeah, is I love helping people. Well, it's more than that, because I know what it's done for me, as I just explained, the confidence level, the the focus, and I've been able to find something and stay with it, and rise to the challenges and not just throw the towel in, just stay there for the long haul, and had this mentorship that I'm not paying for either. It's just this mentorship that keeps going, this tribe. And I know what that's done for me personally. It's not only changed my financial future, but it's actually done a lot more than that. That's just one little consequence. It's actually changed my belief in myself, but also my marriage, my relationships with people. So many things have benefited from what I've done, what I've grown, how I've grown from this business, and I'm seeing how it's helping others. And it really is something that, just a couple of examples. I have some people I'm working with, and one of them in particular, she still is a single mother, completely solo. And she was really, really doing it tough, didn't know where to find her next income. Fancy being in the travel business, travel agents, and then it's COVID. I mean, imagine that. And she has really not only built an incredible business and been able to help a lot more people, but I've helped her do that, but she's also can now, she's gone back to travel, and she can be selective as to who she deals with her travel business. And just to see her every day growing as a person and becoming even a better leader, probably better than I am right now, because it's just incredible. And, she's just really been able to help her and her children. Their life is just improving all the time. Now that is definitely helping people and putting people in a better position financially, but also with how they feel about themselves and their relationships with their family and their kids. And, it's all part of it. So yes, every single day. And we're also seeing savings for people every single day as well. So we're helping a lot of people every day. I'm just feel like I'm helping people, touching lives and touching hearts and changing lives is what I say on a daily basis.
That's an incredible business motto right there. And I guess so, for somebody that's looking from the outside in and wanting to either have financial independence or to be their own boss, run their own business, usually the questions are, well, I don't have investment income, or I don't have the capital to start something up myself, or I don't have the expertise, or who will train me, who will support me. I love the word you used there, tribe. So obviously you formed a community that you feel is supportive, not just of you, but all of the people in your organization as well. How important is it for somebody who is looking to start a new business to actually find this sort of tribe?
Very important. I mean, I think it's everything. As I kind of mentioned or alluded to earlier, I believe the reason why my other businesses, they didn't succeed, is because I didn't have that tribe. It was such a solo journey, and now it's completely different. A tribe is so important, to have that community of people who can actually, just being around them can lift you up if you're feeling like, I don't know if I can keep doing this, because there's challenges, right, in every single business. I see it's probably the most important thing in a business is to have a tribe of people around you who can help you, not just mentors, but like-minded people who understand you, who get you, who may be doing something similar, business people around you, business associates that understand what it's like to be, because it doesn't have to be a solo journey. And in fact, it shouldn't be a solo journey, I believe. It has to be, we all lift each other, we all help each other. And that's what we do. That's what we do as an organisation. And it's like everyone's empowered by each other. And it's, if someone's flat, just make sure you come along to our next event, you know, ring a friend, ring someone else in the organisation, because if someone else is flat, then you can actually pass that pay that forward. So it's when I say flat, it's just, we all have our challenges in business, right? And I just don't believe it should be a solo journey. I think it's all about community.
Yeah.
And you succeed. Yeah.
Fabulous. Okay, so on that note, what is, other than finding a tribe, what is a little piece of advice that you would give to somebody maybe who feels currently trapped in their full 9-to-5 job, or they feel they have gifts and talents which they are not using in their current career? What is a piece of advice you would give if they are looking for something to be able to go out there and start a business? What is a piece of advice you could give?
Sri, I would think that it's thinking big, because so many of us are not using all of our brain. We're not using, not just brain, we're not using our heart. We're thinking we have to. We don't have a choice. We're thinking that we have to go, and that's the name of our business. It's a choice, because it is a choice. We don't have to actually subscribe to the 9-to-5 if that's not us. There are options. And as I said, at 18, I got a taste of that, and I never, ever wanted to go and work for someone. I've done that very little in my life. I'm now 56. I think I've worked, I have to be honest, probably about 14 or 15 years in my whole life, of my working life, I have worked for someone else, 14 years. So that's great. It was great. I've had some great experience from that. But if you're wanting to, if you feel an inkling to do something else, know that anything is possible, and just keep believing that, and surround yourself with people who believe that. That's so important, because we think that we don't have a choice, and we all do. And I think that's something that we're not taught at a young age, that we have choice. We're not. We think that we do the right thing, and we maybe go to university, get a job. And we think that's what we have to do to keep ourselves happy or others happy. And I can understand how people feel really stuck there.
Yeah.
Some people aren't stuck, but some people are, and it's like, it doesn't have to be like that. And I think the second thing would be, so this first thing is actually thinking big. There's three things that I would suggest. The second thing is being part of a community. Reach out, start building a community of people who think like you. And the third thing would be that, as I said, we have a choice, and that sometimes you have to step off that ledge. You have to. Until you do that and you take that next step, nothing is going to change. You don't ever think it's going to change if you don't take the action.
Yeah.
And it is scary sometimes. It is scary. I mean, as I said, my husband and I ended up with $0. But you know what? I wouldn't actually have it any other way, because I had valuable experience from my previous businesses that I've brought into this new business. So it's about stepping off out of your comfort zone, and yeah, just being willing to take that action.
Fantastic. Annie, thank you so much for joining us today. That was a really interesting insight into, somebody that's sort of started so young. And in your story, you actually mentioned that arriving here in a foreign country. Where are you originally from?
Oh, I did say that, Strimi. No, that's one of my biggest achievements, was moving to a foreign country. No, I was born in Melbourne. Mum and Dad moved to Queensland when I was 7. So I have had a wonderful upbringing in Bundaberg, Queensland, in most of my life. But no, I did move to a foreign country in my early 30s, wanting a change in life. And this is what I mean, stepping outside your comfort zone. You just don't know where it's going to lead you. Yeah. I ended up living in Europe for 3 years, and it was a really fantastic experience, which shaped my future as well. So definitely it's part of stepping outside of your comfort zone, and you don't know what's there in front of you until you do.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. I think for a lot of people, those are some of the critical takeaways that I would have as well. So think big, step off the ledge. And yes, we do have choices. I think in the generations that are now graduating universities, they do have far more choice than perhaps 30 years ago. But at the same time, there is very much a mold of finish school, go to university, get a job. And I think what you have shown us is that actually there is far more choice than that. And if you start to look, you'll actually discover communities where people are helping entrepreneurship and helping people to get started. So Annie, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate your insight, your depth, and allowing us to sort of peek into what life was like for you. I really appreciate having you on the show.
Thank you so much, Shami. It was my pleasure. It was just wonderful.
Awesome. So guys, we'll be back next week with another amazing story, another amazing entrepreneur who stepped out and achieved so much in their life. And until then, have an amazing week. I will see you very soon.